Hi, this is my screencast of my class. I'm calling it a sandbox course because it's part of my actual design within my Schoology LMS for my district. So, as you can see, it's divided up into folders based on one unit, specifically Unit 3. I personally like to reverse all my folders so that a student does not have to go all the way down to the bottom to find what they're actively working on. But for this example, I will keep them in the order that they would come out chronologically. So you see we have some beginning folders, the start here, which basically gives them an overview to the class and some of the district items that I personally have to put, so I just kind of included them here. This one's rather new for me, a student and technology resource. We've been going through a lot of changes with technology, what's allowed, what's not allowed, the big phone issue. So this particular folder is becoming more and more important. I'm assuming it's becoming more important in a lot of school districts' folders, especially New Jersey's. We also have an AI contract in our district, and we also have a visual aid in the form of a stoplight, where you can use this as a teaching device with the kids, which I do. I don't always remember, but I do use it as to, per assignment, whether AI is allowed, AI you have to get approval from me, or AI is not allowed with the red. So that's becoming more important. I want to include a lot more in that folder as we learn what we're responsible to teach the kids or how we're responsible to get that across to the kids. I have a folder in here that talks about resources. We don't have a textbook, and I'm finding a lot of parents are not too excited about that, but I do include links to textbooks. I think we've actually lost the copyright on a couple of those books, but I can still sneak in and get some of the free pieces of those textbooks. I included a student discussion forum to be separated out at the beginning, kind of like an introductory questioning, kind of the questions I would ask as a class. Some of these I ask at the beginning of class, just to kind of get a feel of what they know and also to try and get the kids engaged. So for this one, even though it's an online course, I probably would do a lot of these discussions with right on wipe-off boards, visual aids on the projector, things like that they can get them discussing things within their small groups and then within the class. I have a pre-test, and then I will do it again at the end as a post-test to measure quantities of information that have been collected. We have a new state test, so I'm going to start including some of those state tests that have been worded a certain way, or state questions, my apology, that have been worded a certain way as part of my pre-test and post-test coming up. I have the syllabus in which there is a specific set of assignments that are recommended to be used to be common across the entire grade level. And then I go into my individual, I call them modules in our district. I feel that they are like sub-chapters within a unit. So the unit would be biochemistry, and these modules would be the chapters or sub-chapters, if you will, within the unit itself. So Chapter 1, Module 3.1, 3 being the unit. What are elements and compounds? So I started this one out as a small to large perspective, and we started off with the smallest, which would be elements. Within there, I will give resources. I will give separate folders as they do to content, and within that content, usually you see a digital notebook. You could see notes within there. You could see projects within there. So this one is a multi-class project where we're crossing over with ELA, and ELA takes it to the next level. So this is a cross-curricular assignment where there is a writing piece down at the bottom within their ELA course. There are notes that are associated with this. I have them both in digital form and in paper form for the students. I'm finding that to go back and study digital notes is actually a very tricky thing for them to do in elementary school. And then as you keep going down, I have sub-quizzes, practice for quizzes in the form of games. I have projects as we go along, and instead of giving a final quiz, summative quiz at the end, I'm giving them a summative project, so more of a performance check. So as you go through my different modules, the next one is a large group project, of which I give also an opening discussion question, as well as choices for their final group project in Web 2.0 project final items. So they could do Google Doc, they could do Google Slide, they could do what I'm doing right now with just ScreenPal, or there's a Canva where they can actually make a menu format. So as you go through, you see sometimes certain things have to be completed in a certain order in order to get done correctly, which means I am forcing them to do one thing before they can do the other. I have a next module, 3.2, how do elements and compounds move? So now we take that, what we learned in 3.1, and now we move them. And this, again, includes different items such as labs that usually almost always are done in partners. Rarely do we do labs individually. We have supplemental videos. We have games within there. Online experiments, and then we have, again, notes under their topic, and we have a pre-read for a lab that is 2 days in length, but they kind of have to know what they're doing before they get into it. So I have them pre-read either in a classwork assignment, depending on their reading level, or as a homework assignment. We have practice quizzes, and then we have a formative check. We call it a formative check. It's still a summative check. It's still grading what they are able to grab. Sometimes we score it as a quiz, and sometimes we do not score it as a quiz. Again, these decisions are made on a grade level basis. And then we have options for quiz. I like to have multiple versions for kids that are absent, and sometimes I switch the version from later in the day, so the first period of the day doesn't tell the last period of the day the questions that are on it. I do level them. Anytime you see these stars or these asterisks, it's telling you it's a lower level, a lower reading level, and then there's an enrichment level. Another group assignment project that is the basis of our entire unit. We hate to start it, so chronologically I start it before we actually get into the topic. Again, multiple items within each folder associated with each one. This one actually belongs down here in the other section. And then our last unit, what is cellular respiration? Again, notes, digitally formed notes, where the kids have to go through and fill in blanks in a very straightforward manner. Some of it is straight reading comprehension. Some of it is fill in a chart. Again, more online games, online labs that they can go through and practice. I do give a review folder. Sometimes it's the form of a study guide. What the heck do I study for a final unit test? And then we give them practice to set up for high school midterms and finals. We kind of give them a big quantity of information on a test. And again, you see the different levels. So this one happens to be very large. It is created from things that I already have. So it was pretty easy to find, but I did go back and realize there are things that I need to do to clean this up. and make it much more user-friendly, student-friendly, so that it's kind of giving them a step up to get ready to the high school course, which is a lot more individual than we are at the middle school. Okay, I think that's my overview. Thank you.